There. Well, I started yakking and I didn't even have my camera turned on. Yeah, that's pretty bright. In terms of brightness, I'm not the brightest bulb in the store. But anyways, it is a nice sunny day so far. A little on the chilly side, but I guess I won't complain too much. It won't do any good anyway, so. I wanted to talk about I know it's a pretty volatile subject, but I want to talk a bit about politicians. And have you ever noticed that okay, well, Trudeau's been in for a few terms, but now everybody hates him. Yeah, he's got to go. Everybody hates him. But that's the same with all the politicians. The prime minister, he gets in, and first thing you know, everybody hates him. And I don't know whether that's just a natural thing or what, but you know, I never liked Pierre Trudeau, but I do think that Justin has done a half decent job in light of all of the confusion and turmoil that's going on in the world right now, and the economics, all that kind of stuff. I think he's done a half decent job, you know, because I don't care what the other guys say, because you know, they'll say anything to try to get a vote. And it's one thing to shoot your mouth off, and it's another thing to be able to produce. And so we always have to keep that in mind. You can promise anything when you're not in power, but once you get into power, now you got to actually try and do it. And that turns out to be a whole different game. And then, of course, if you call them out on it, then they say, oh, yeah, well, it's because of this and because of that, and we didn't know this, we didn't know that. And all that is a bunch of crap. But anyways, and the Conservatives, I wouldn't vote for Conservative if, you know, if they added 50 years to my life. Because the base policy of the Conservative Party, and I mean that's what you have to look at when you're going to choose a candidate, not whether you like that person or not. It's about the basic policy of that party. And the Conservative Party, their basic platform has always been pay off the debt, don't spend any money, cutbacks, and nice gifts to big business and rich people. So, in my way of thinking, which isn't always the best, but I'm not going to vote for them because they're never going to do much for me, private citizen. And whereas the basic liberal platform is more devoted for benefits to the public, and more specifically benefits to the working class. After all, the working class pays all the bills anyways for the country, but their focus is more on social programs and stuff like that that benefit the voters, you know, service to the people, I guess. And so, therefore, they're on my okay list, even though I hate all politicians. But I look at the basic policy of and they'll always go back to that. And then the last time they were running, conservatives were running on their platform, I heard them say, and one of the things that they were going to do is, yes, we are going to pay down the debt responsibly. Bull. The last time they pulled that crap, they laid off, well, I was in Ontario, they laid off nurses and teachers and cut back and cut back and cut back, because they wanted to balance the budget. You have to remember that deficit government is as far as I know, most of the countries that have any kind of sizable economy, they have a deficit budget. So in terms of our deficit, as long as our deficit stays within acceptable norm, we're fine. We're fine because everybody is in deficit. So they make a big political deal out of it, but that's the fact of it. Is that as long as our deficit is in line, so to speak, with the deficits of other countries, we're fine. We're fine. So I know it's nice to think, well, if we pay down the debt, we'll save all that interest. Well, yes, we will. But in order to do that, we're going to have to sacrifice the Canadian public. And the Canadian public isn't responsible for our deficit. Our governments are. And because the Canadian people didn't start a deficit budget or anything like that, the government did. And so now they got a horse they got to try and feed, but not at our expense. That's the way I see it, anyways. After all, if you understand the deficit, anything at all, you'll understand the fact that deficits are spending of money of the future, and so that means that it's spending against our children and grandchildren and stuff like that, because we're borrowing from the future to pay for the present. And again, that's not our fault. Our government, we voted and hired, so to speak, our governments to make sure that we're okay, to look after us. But in many cases, they're not looking after anybody but themselves. And it's the same with the banks that say, oh, we're your friend and we'll help you and we'll help you. Well, that's bullshit. They're going to help themselves, and if you step one finger out of line, they'll nail you to a cross. So you have to remember that business is about making money, and as long as for profit is in that scenario, the consumer will suffer. That's if you have a program that's partly what's wrong with our health care for seniors. It's about all the services are for profit. So that means they want to make money and they don't really care as long as they don't lose their contract, they don't care. So that won't ever get fixed unless the for-profit thing is taken out of that formula, and now all they have to worry about is performance. If they do the services properly, etc., everything is going to be okay, and if they don't, they're going to get fired. But so, anyways, I'm going to go in and have some coffee, and then maybe I'll be in a better frame of mind when I come back out. I hope you're all well and you have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.